Hey guys, it's Mike, your friendly neighborhood tech guy, and the teachers have asked me to make a couple little videos about Teams and how you would use it. Now my view is going to be a little bit different than what yours looks like, but not too much different. So we're going to do a quick overview of Teams today, and then we're going to show you how to join a meeting. So let's do that real quick. So I've got Teams pulled up over here. Now this is the Teams app. I have this running on my computer. It's an app that I've installed, and it runs all the time in the background. The other version is the web browser version. Right now I'm using Google Chrome, and you look, they look identical as I move them up and down, and they have the same functionality. However, if you close the browser, it's done, whereas the app will run in the background. Now these are all the different teams that I belong in, and I'm clicking on the Teams icon over on the left hand side. I know it's weird to think Teams inside of Teams, but Teams is the app, and it controls all the different teams that you belong to. So these are all the different teams I belong to. In fact, I belong to a bunch more, but I have several of them just hidden down here because they're not active right now. And so these are the ones that I'm actively in, and I've set up this one. If I click on my Tech Special 101 to kind of go over the demo today. Now this is the teacher view. So you might not have all these options up here like upload class materials, find help and training, da-da-da. But I'm not sure exactly what your roles will look like, but this is the channel view. So you have all these different channels over here on the left hand side, and the channels are, I think you can think of them like chapters in a book or sections in your class or whatever. So if you're doing, say if I'm a history teacher, and I'm covering, geography or whatever, and then I could have my landforms here, and then I have another section here about like erosion or different things that would fit underneath of those topics. Each one of those has its own conversation thread, which is the main body over here, but they also have their own files. There's a classroom notebook that's for everyone in the classroom. All your assignments will show up here, and your grades will show up here. I'm going to click on assignments, and this is the assignment that I have created for tomorrow, and this is just a general assignment. I'm going to go back to my general tab, and then you'll notice that it shows up right here. So I can click on this and view the assignment itself. Now this is the teacher view, but if I click on the student view, this is what it will look like for the student. It's got the instructions here, the title, how many points are listed, the different, I've uploaded these files for people to download and look at and reference. So those are your materials. And then once you do the assignment, you'll turn that in. And we'll click back out of there. Actually, I'm going to go back to the general tab. Here are where your conversations are at. Now, I've got a chat button up here and an activity button. The students will have an activity button, and your activity button shows all the most recent things. So if a teacher's posted an assignment, started a conversation, tagged you in something, that will all show up right here. I'm not going to click on mine because I've got some personal stuff on there from school, and probably some confidential stuff that no one needs to see. But then I also have the chat feature. The chat feature is disabled for students. And I know it seems like a little like, why would you do that? But they did that because they don't want kids having little side conversations, or students having side conversations with other students that might be appropriate, might not be appropriate. Plus, it kind of keeps everything in the open view. So if I'm in this part, I can have a conversation. I can start a new conversation and have a open discussion with yourself and the teacher and all the other students that are in the classroom. If you have questions that if you might be embarrassed about asking your teacher, maybe just email your teacher that question specifically. Don't put it in the chat. But if it's something that you want, put it in the chat. Maybe your teacher can get to it super quick. If not, maybe there's another student in the room that can help you with that maybe had that same problem and can figure it out. So a lot of the conversations can start here, and they are in a conversation thread. So you'll notice the assignment is here, and then there's a reply button. So if you have a question about the assignment that might be helpful for all the other kids in the class, you can post it there. You can also check there to see if other students have posted questions that you might be having a similar question, so you can click that and see what the teacher's response was. I also scheduled a meeting, and then right down here is an actual conversation that I started with myself. But you can start a conversation, you can ask questions, you can put things in here, and then people can respond to them specifically in that in that chat right there. Let's talk about a meeting. Your meetings are tied into your calendar. If I click on my calendar, you'll notice that I've got a technology call tomorrow, but I'm kind of clear for today with the exception of this classroom one that I set up. So if I can click on the meeting in the calendar, I can then hit join. I also have the edit button because I created this. I don't think students will not have that button, but then you click join to join that meeting at the time that it's set. My meeting is set for 8:30 today. It is 8:24. I can join it a few minutes early. Because I'm the one that created the meeting, I have it set to where there's a lobby. So when my students click into the meeting, there is a lobby and they'll be put on hold until the teacher admits them. But if I click join, I will join the meeting immediately. You can also go back to your Teams view, and I'm still in my Tech Special team, and I can click on the meeting here, and I'll see. I see the details of the meeting, but I can also click join here. So I'm going to go back to my calendar, which is how most people will normally join. And you'll notice now that I viewed the meeting, I have just the straight up join button right here. So I'm going to click join. And this is a little trippy because I have my camera set right here as the same as my video software. So right here I have my camera is on. I can turn my camera off. I can turn my microphone on. I can turn my microphone off. Because sometimes if it's noisy and you're where you're watching the meeting or whatever take place, you might want to just start with your microphone off. If your background is messy, like my office is just straight up messy, you can do a custom background, and you have the option of doing virtual backgrounds. I don't know, this won't work in this view, and I can't really change my camera just to show me, but I can do a blur, and that will blur my background completely for everyone. I can set up these different ones that are like classroom setups, shop setups, maybe a nice house, and this will be my virtual background behind me. Now, it doesn't show it with me being in there, but it does show it will show you in the center and like a little outline around you. And see, oh wait, I'm kind of moving. I kind of popped up there in the bottom corner. Oh, kind of for a second. Oh wait, there. I'm sitting too still. But anyway, those are your options for joining the meeting. If you go to custom setup, it'll show you what your microphone is and what if you're wearing headphones, or mine are actually plugged into a set of speakers in my room right now. But then you can click the custom setup, change your speaker. My camera set to Logitech Capture, or I can select my webcam. I'm using my webcam to record this video, so I can't really do that. But this is where you change, what your microphone is. If you have your microphone, or I can use the microphone on my webcam if I want. It just depends on what your setup is. All right, I'm going to close that out. And I'm actually not, let's just join the room. I'm going to join the room, and I've got my virtual background on, and you guys can see that listed right there. Now, if I look around the meeting, now this is new to the newest version of Microsoft Teams. The meeting window is a separate window, so you can actually have your Teams in the background and view the chat and different things that are going on. So if I wanted to, I could click back over here on Teams and see the meeting in progress. I'm going to click back down here and click my meeting and have it in the foreground. This button right here will show you the participants, who's in the meeting right now. As a teacher, I can invite people by a phone number, by typing more people's names in here, that sort of thing. They'll still have to wait in the lobby until admitted by the teacher. There's a chat feature in here, so if you have questions during the presentation and you don't want to interrupt the teacher, you can just type your question in right there. And there's a raise your hand feature, so when the meeting gets started, if there were multiple people in this meeting, there would be multiple little windows showing all the different people, and that will highlight your square and bring your attention to the teacher so that they can call on you, and then you can unmute your microphone and ask your question. There's a more actions button, but this is more like your device settings, what kind of view you're going to get. The teacher has the option to record the meeting, that sort of thing. And then, of course, if you need to turn your camera off, maybe your brother's playing video games in the background, or somebody comes to the house or something, you can turn your camera off. and then of course you can mute your microphone here. Now this right here is for sharing your screen. You might be doing a presentation with the teacher and you'll need to click this button, and then you have all these different open windows down here that you can select from. This is because those are all I have 2 different screens and I have multiple applications that are open. You can select from any of those to do your presentation. So if you have PowerPoint open in the background, you can open up your PowerPoint and do your presentation with your teacher. And then of course when you need to leave the meeting, you click the leave button right up here in the top right hand corner. So I'm going to click leave, meeting is over, and that is it. So hopefully that's a quick little 10-minute demo for Teams, and that will help you guys out a little bit. If you have any more questions, drop me a comment, ask me. I've set up live grades with everybody in Teams, and hopefully before too long that will all translate over and everyone will be in a tech support team, and hopefully that we're trying to get that worked out right now over the next week or so. So hopefully that's it. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know, and thanks for coming to my Tech Talk.